Hello everybody, my name's Matt Johnston. Welcome to the Interesting Times, a show that takes a sidewise swipe at politics right here in the UK. Well, things are a little quiet at the moment in the UK, so what better time for Boris Johnson to go on holiday? It's his second holiday of 2020. The last one was in January of this year, although it started sometime in the 1990s. Thankfully though, he's not going too far. Sunny Scotland. Okay, Scotland. To not only enjoy himself, but also to remind the Scots what they'll be missing out on if they vote for independence. Yeah, that'll work. To be fair, I've no doubt that he's also there because, let's be honest, with this government, if you go abroad, there's a fair chance that you're going to get stuck there or here for a fortnight. Because, to add to Spain's quarantining in a matter of hours, which happened a couple of weeks ago, the government did likewise on Saturday, giving 30 hours notice for la French. And again, they weren't happy about it. In fact, they were très misérables. The British government has let it be known that any country on the planet that is seeing positive cases over 20 in 100,000 is likely to be put on that list. A quick peek at the figures show that there is quite a lot on that list. Although I won't put too much faith in the numbers. Not sure, for instance, how Truss and Cheese Islands can have 365 in 100,000 when the entire population is just over 31,000. And speaking of escaping potentially fatal scenarios, as we discussed on last week's show, asylum seekers are fleeing hostile governments in an attempt to build a better life for themselves and their families. And the media weren't allowed to let an opportunity like this go to waste.
Are you okay? Where are you from? You okay? Where have you come from? Iran. We're very close, you can see, to the white cliffs of Dover now. Our boat driver is just calling the Coast Guard now, so obviously we'll stay with this boat, make sure it's safe as it comes into shore. But it really has been quite an extraordinary morning out on the English Channel. Of course, we know this is now a very familiar scene. That doesn't make it any less unsettling to see.
Well, of course it's unsettling. They nearly broadsided your dainty little metal frigate with their dangerously robust rubber dinghy.
Came back towards Dover, we got really quite close there as well, and they were cheering UK as we drove past that second boat.
Cheering UK, those evil people. I've no doubt that UK is just an acronym for their latest dastardly terrorist organisation. No, sorry. Yeah, I'm just being told that's us. Well, Priti Patel wasted no time in employing a clandestine channel threat commander. The two of them pictured here. It's like a blind date. And like a blind date, it's clear one of them is starting to regret this. We may be out of Europe, but we are in recession. Must try and find out where recession is. Hope we got some good trading terms. The first time the UK has been in recession for 11 years, and other countries are concerned about us. They think we might be heading for a depression. And nobody wants to be depressed. Maybe we should talk to somebody. We spoke about Liz Truss last week, and I did say that the Japanese would be back for more trade talks. Well, I owe Liz an apology, as it appears she's been playing hardball on the future deal with Japan. Or should that be hard cheese? As Liz has dug in her heels over blue cheese. The trade is only worth about £100,000, but it's more symbolic. And Liz, well, she has a bit of a thing for cheese, an obsession that's been going on for years. Here she is talking about what she perceives are the biggest problems, all the way back in 2014.
We import 2/3 of our cheese. That is a disgrace.
So, cheeses are the reason that trade talks have been brought to a standstill. She must be crackers. I cannot bear it. Okay, let's move on. Hey, do you remember this?
We are going to unite and level up. Unite and level up.
On Thursday, A-level results were in, and it wasn't good news for a lot of pupils. Now, obviously, because the schools having to close, this has clearly affected exam results. A lot of students have had their results downgraded because of an algorithm, which is based on the historic marks of the school and postcode, etc., etc. But have no fear, Gavin Williamson is on the case. He's going with this idea.
A system that's fair for the pupils, but we're wanting to make sure that there's a triple lock there.
So lock 1, you accept the grade. Doesn't seem like much of a lock, more of an open door. But okay, lock 2, you can accept a mock result, which may be from your last mock exam or from another, and may happen any time between now and the next, 50 years. Although the good news with that, of course, is if you leave it long enough, then you may not have a student grant, but you can always use your pension. Although you may not have that. And the third one, which is to appeal your grade. And it's worth mentioning a couple of issues with that. The appeal process is going to be slow, as appeal processes tend to be. But in a twist of evil brilliance, which I wouldn't attribute to this government, well, not the brilliant part anyway. It turns out, even if you're successful, then because of the algorithm, other pupils at the school and on the same course may have their marks downgraded as a result. Never mind levelling up, more like fucking up. When is a death not a death? It's a question that the Tories have been pondering. The COVID death rate figures which have been given are wrong. And what's been happening is that people who are thought to be dead from coronavirus were actually people who'd had coronavirus. I mean, we've been counting deaths from coronavirus rather than counting deaths from 28-day-old coronavirus. So, with the adjusted figures, we can now see that there are 5,000 less people dead. Keep introducing these exemptions and before you know it, we'll be down to single figures and it'll all be fine. Virus? What virus? But taking the government's own stance on this year's A-level results and using it here, we can see that those that died from coronavirus are, and this was back in June, around about 43,500. But the actual deaths above the normal rate for this time of year is 65,000. So where did the excess 21,500 deaths come from? Come on, these are people's relatives, not Lord of the Rings character. But it's not something we're going to have to worry about too much longer, as the Russians have engineered a cure. Yes, thank you, Vlad. Hey, if we can't trust these guys, then who can you trust? Well, certainly not these guys. I think it's great that they've done this, but I would like a few more checks. After all, we don't want to turn into a bunch of violent, mindless zombies, do we? Oh, too late. Oh, well, that's it for another week. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are enjoying these weekly updates, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss another. And I'll see you all next Monday. Take care.